The Detroit Lions have been the feel-good story of the NFL for the last 2 seasons as they ended their playoff drought, made the NFC Championship game, but this is a team that really battled some injuries down the stretch, had the 1 seed in the NFC this past season, but fell just short for another season. But I think now is a really good chance for this team to capitalize, get some really good players, and have a legitimate chance to win a Super Bowl as early as next season. This is a loaded roster, but what positions can Detroit look to attack to make this team better suited to go on a championship run? And that's what we're going to be attempting to do as we are doing a 7-round Detroit Lions mock draft. We're getting close to the end of this series. I think we've got 4 or 5 left after this one, but this has been an incredible series. You guys have been so supportive. And if you are new to this series or to this channel, consider leaving a like on this video, subscribing if you are new, and check out the Patreon page, which I will leave linked in the description below. It's $5 a month, but I truly believe it is the best resource on the market with advanced player stats, combine and pro day numbers, player comparisons, my full written scouting reports for over 450 players in this draft. And I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. So if you enjoy my NFL draft content, be sure to give that one a look. But guys, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's go ahead and kick this off with the Detroit Lions. So here at pick number 28, there are a bunch of different ways that I could see Detroit going. I could see them going edge rusher, could see them going O-line, could see them going with a wide receiver here. I think it's a sneaky need. I just don't think Emeka Egbuka really fits. You could go with an edge rusher, like we mentioned. I took Scorton to the Ravens in my last mock, took Ezeraku previously. Don't really love the defensive tackles on the board either. So I am going to go with an offensive lineman because I think you can upgrade the Graham Glasgow spot at your left guard. This is a Lions team that has really done a good job of prioritizing the trenches. You got Penei Sewell through the draft. Frank Ragnow was a draft pick. And I think that Tyler Booker is a phenomenal player that can be a starting guard for you day one. This is a guy that has experience playing all along the offensive line. He's 6'5", 321, but this is a guy that has played a little bit of tackle throughout his career. He has the size to do it. What people are going to worry about is the athleticism. He ran a 5.38, 1.96 10-yard split. But what I have to say about that is if anyone watched him on tape, this is a guy that isn't this incredible athlete. That was never his game. He just feels like a Lions player, an absolute monster with his size, great run blocker, gets up into space, just moves people in the run game. I think he's got some of the strongest anchor and footwork in the class, and he's got really good hands for the position as well. You'd like to see him improve in terms of his high pads. He has struggled sometimes in pass protection, but I'm taking him here at 28. He fits what this team wants to do in terms of establishing an identity to just hit people. Booker, I think you can play him at left guard where he played at Alabama. You can move him over to right guard. And now you feel pretty good about this young interior where you've got Christian Mahogany, who was an absolute steal where they got him last year. Now you got Booker playing on the opposite side with the tackles and Frank Ragnow in between them. I think this solidifies the line for the next 3 to 4 seasons. So I'm going to take Tyler Booker here at pick 28. Here at pick 60, I'm trying to think outside the box for this one, do some things that I haven't necessarily done before, and I am going to go with an edge rusher to the Detroit Lions. Obviously, this is a team that is lucky to have Aiden Hutchinson back because he was on pace of having an all-time great pass rush season this past year, and unfortunately had a gruesome leg injury. Looks like he will make a full recovery, though, and should be good to go for this team. But you're going to need another guy on the opposite side of him because you cut Zadarius Smith. Marcus Davenport hasn't been able to stay healthy really throughout his entire career. So what move do you look to make on the defensive line? And there's some good edge rushers on the board. Jack Sawyer, I think, gives you a high floor, maybe not a very high ceiling. Jordan Birch is a guy that I'm considering here. I like Birch quite a bit. Versatility to line up everywhere, great size, really solid run defender as well. There's a lot to like about his game, but I'm actually going to go with Oluwafemi Oladejo out of UCLA. He is a day 2 prospect to me, and he is a true second round grade for me. He's 6'2", 261 pounds. He just plays with a different type of aggression that I think this Lions team is really going to value. He's got great power as a rusher. He's got versatility to drop back into coverage and incredibly active hands. What excites me the most about him, he is still kind of a project in that he's only played edge rusher for 1 season. He was an inside linebacker, converted to an edge rusher this past season. And while he hasn't pieced everything all together yet, he's a guy that had a 10.6% pass rush win rate, 7 sacks, and 33 pressures this past season for UCLA. He can defend the run well. I think he gives you versatility along the line. And he's a guy that I think can be a day 1 really good run defender. But I also really like his upside as a pass rusher. I think he's going to be a really good player. This feels like a guy that Brad Holmes and the Lions would just absolutely fall in love with. I think Jordan Burch is a really good player, but I'm going to defer to who I have higher on my board. And Oladejo is higher on my board by a good 6 or 7 spots. I've got Oladejo as my number, I believe, 11 edge rusher in the class, and I've got Burch at my number, I think, 18. So I'm going to go with Oladejo. I think he's the better player and a guy that would really fit what this Lions defense wants to do. So here at pick 102, I am going to make a slight trade back with Buffalo. I'm looking interior defensive line, and there are a lot of really good players on the board, and I kind of just want to see some come off the board a little bit. So we're going to move back to pick 109. We're giving pick 102 and 244 to Buffalo in exchange for 109 and 169. So really good value here. We're moving up, turning a 7th rounder into a 5th rounder, just moving back 7 spots. I think this will give me a little bit more clarity on what I want to do here at pick 109. I like some of the defensive tackles, which is the position I'm targeting, and I just think this gives me a better plan. So I'm going to make this deal with Buffalo. So at pick 109, we mentioned that I was going to look defensive tackle in this class. And I love the way this board fell because there are legitimately 5 guys here. The top 5, I think you could talk me into each and every one of them. Joshua Farmer, Jordan Phillips, Ty Robinson, Vernon Broughton, and Jamari Caldwell. I like all of these guys a lot. And I think all of these guys are going to be picked pretty high. But I am going to favor the upside of Joshua Farmer. And here's why. Farmer is a guy that I don't think I would start right away if I'm Detroit. I think he's a guy that's probably going to take a year or 2 in the league to really kind of figure it out. But he's in the situation where he can do that. Look at the Lions interior right now. You got Aleem McNeil, who should be coming back from injury. You've got DJ Reader for 1 more year. You've got Levi Onwuzurike as well for another year under contract. Joshua Farmer, to me, is the perfect developmental guy here at 109 who has all the traits and all the makings of being an elite defensive tackle. 6'2", 314 pounds with an 82.5-inch wingspan. A guy that ran a 5'1", 440 with a 181 split. He's incredibly strong. And this is a guy that I really do think has some of the best athleticism and traits for any of the tackles or defensive linemen in the class. Great pop with his hands, and he really does have great change of direction, fluidity in his hips, long arms, as we mentioned. I do want to see him get stronger, work on his ability to disengage with blockers, but he has shown great upside each and every year. This is a guy that can get after the quarterback, and I think he can play in multiple different alignments for you on the defensive line. Farmer was a guy that I was hoping would fall to 109. He was there at 102. He ended up falling into my lap, and I'm going to take him here. I just think the upside with him is higher than some of these other guys. You could talk yourself into any of these guys. I think every one of them would be a good pick, but I'm going to go with Joshua Farmer. I think the value is too good to pass on here at 109. So we're going to make another trade down here with the Las Vegas Raiders. We are going to give them pick 130, and in exchange, we're going to get back pick 143 and 180. We're giving up a 2026 7th round pick to make this happen, but we are just, again, there's a lot of options on the board for us. I want to move back, and we're getting an extra pick in this draft class. So to me, really good value and a trade that I will make 10 times out of 10. We're going to move back with Vegas, 13 spots, and acquire pick 180. At pick 143, I really want to go with the safety, and I'm looking at a bunch of different options, but I've kind of narrowed it down to three guys, and that's Jalen Reed from Penn State, Malachi Moore from Alabama, and Caleb Ransall from Tulane. I think those are the three best safeties on the board. Now, I have Ransall the highest of the guys that we have on the board here. He is my number 7 safety in the draft class. I absolutely love his game. He is an absolutely phenomenal athlete, ran a 4.33, 40-inch vertical, explosive, physical in coverage, but I don't really think that's the type of safety this team needs. They have that ball hawk in Kirby Joseph. They've got that versatile piece in Brian Branch, and if I'm looking for a safety that Detroit needs, I think they need depth, because if they have a single injury, I don't really love the options that they have right now. I think Jalen Reed kind of fits them perfectly for what this team needs on the back end. He ran a 4.49 at the combine, and he's just an overall really solid player. 6'1", 209 pounds, really big frame, good in zone coverage with strong eyes. He can be used as a blitzer, but he's a very good player in the box. And I don't really know that this team has a type of option like that in their backfield. He's going to need to improve his tackling technique. It's been incredibly up and down throughout his career. Had nearly a 15% missed tackle rate. And I do think he's going to have to be stronger, going to have to be better against the run. But I think he fits this team pretty perfectly, to be completely honest with you. He's versatile, gives you a lot of different things you can do, whether it's in the box or over the top. I like his range athletically. I like what he can do. I'm going to take Jalen Reed here at pick 143 and just kind of solidify this backfield, add another depth piece here just in case injury happens. At pick 169, I can't think of a more Detroit Lions pick than Pat Bryant from Illinois. He's Tim Patrick 2.0. He's exactly the type of receiver that this team needs. A big-bodied, physical, jump ball, go and get it type of receiver that this team just doesn't have. And Bryant, 6'2", 208. He ran a 4.61. He's not the best athlete in the world, but man, this dude knows how to win contested catches. Nearly 67% contested catch rate in 2024. Phenomenal number. I think at his peak, he could be a really good number 2 receiver, because I think he's a better route runner and separator than people give him credit for, but he's also just a physical freak for the position. You worry about the outside production outside of 2024, and I don't really think he's the quickest athlete in the world. Doesn't get out of his break super quickly, doesn't have the long speed to consistently separate. But that's exactly what you got in Tim Patrick, and I think this is just a younger version of that. He's also a good blocker in the run game, which I think this team absolutely loves. I think Bryant is the most Detroit Lions pick in day 3. He makes all the sense in the world for this team, from not just a player, but a fit as well. He's the exact type of missing receiver that this team needs. So I'm not even going to think twice about this. I'm taking Pat Bryant here at 169. Here, pick 180. This is where the draft is probably going to be upsetting to a lot of Lions fans, just because this roster is so talented and so good that I'm struggling to figure out where to go here. I think another edge rusher is very much in play here. I like Q Robinson from Alabama quite a bit as just an athletic dart throw here at pick 180, because his upside athletically, really impressive. 6'4", 236. He hasn't tested yet, but a guy that's had some pretty solid production. Another guy that I think gives you versatility to drop into coverage, but his first step quickness and length is really impressive. He doesn't have a pass rush plan really at all, and he struggles to consistently get off of blocks, inconsistent technique. So on one hand, I think you worry about that because you drafted Oladejo, who's got similar concerns. But I think the athletic upside with Robinson is certainly there. If you want to go get a more polished edge rusher, then I think Antoine Powell-Ryland is the guy. A guy that's been uber productive for Virginia Tech, fits the scheme really, really well. He is a guy that can win in a bunch of different ways. Swims, swipes, spins. Some of the most active hands of any pass rusher in the class. I'm going to draft him here at 180. I'm just going to go get a more sure thing off the edge. You need all the bodies you can get in the defensive backfield, or in the defense, I should say. And I think Antoine Powell-Ryland can be a good third, fourth edge rusher if you need him to. Reminds me a little bit of Malcolm Kuntz. It's just the way that he wins. So I'm going to take Antoine Powell-Ryland here with pick 180. At pick 196, we're going to go right back to defense, and we're going to go add another linebacker. This linebacker room is interesting because you got Malcolm Rodriguez, you've got Jack Campbell, you brought in Grant Stewart, you got bodies there. I still think adding depth at this position is important, and I still don't feel like they have that star there. Jack Campbell really had a good year, but I think you can add another guy, a safe draft pick here. And I'm going to go with Cody Lindenberg out of Minnesota. 6'2", 239. Not the greatest athlete in the world. Ran a 4.71, but good tackler. A guy that can get after the quarterback a little bit. He's just a really smart player. One of the most cerebral linebackers in the entire draft class. That is a good run defender. Has good gap discipline. He's got a ton of playing experience. And I think he's a very disciplined player. He's not this athletic guy, and that's why he's not being mocked really high, but he does everything you want from a linebacker perspective, particularly as a run defender. I think he's a very smart player. At the very worst, he's a good special teamer for you, but I like Lindenberg to develop into one of these rotational linebackers for you. Like I said, really tough spot to draft for with these last two picks, but I think Lindenberg fills a need, adds a little bit more linebacker depth, and is a really good player here that I think fits the culture they want to build. So I'm going to take him at 196. With our final pick here at 228, I'm just going to go get another tight end. I know this team loves Brock Wright. Still think they could add another body to this tight end room. I know people are going to see Lachey, Jurasic, and Fedone there. I don't think they're going to be on the board here at 228. So I'm going to go with CJ Dupree. I think he's one of the safer bets as a 7th round linebacker, or 7th round tight end, to be a good player. He tested out way better at the combine than I was expecting. 80-inch wingspan, 4.69 40, 32 on the bench press. This is a guy that had a 66.7% contested catch rate. He's a guy that started his career at Maryland, and he's a good blocking tight end. He sets the edge really well. He's got a strong base. He's got strong hands when he is targeted, and is a really smart player at understanding zone coverage, where to settle. He's not the greatest after the catch. You're not asking him to be this seam stretcher, but as a rotational tight end, a guy that can block a little bit, be a nice red zone threat, I think he's worth the pick here, and he'll finish out the draft at 228. So that's going to do it for the Detroit Lions 7-round mock draft. Really prioritize the trenches here, adding more pieces to this defense and getting a really fun possession receiver. But I'd love to hear from you guys down in the comment section. What picks would you have made if you were me? What picks do you like? Which picks would you have changed? Would love to hear from you guys down in the comment section. Leave a like on this video, subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.